rejection is supposed to be final. A clean cut, a door slammed, a name scratched off the family tree. They tell you the mate bond is sacred, moon-chosen, unbreakable, written in starlight and blood. They never tell you what happens when the person, the goddess, supposedly picked for you stands in front of the entire pack and says your body failed its only purpose, that your womb is a graveyard, that you are, in front of everyone who ever smiled at your mating ceremony, officially worthless. When the bond snaps, it doesn't kill you. It just leaves you breathing through a hole where your future used to be. 3 years later, the cruelest part arrives. Not another rejection. An invitation. Heavy cream cardstock. His scent still soaked into the fibers. Pine, cedar. The sharp, arrogant musk of an alpha who has never once questioned his own deservingness. Elegant black script. Alpha Damien Silverpaw and Luna Rebecca Fairmont cordially invite you to the presentation ceremony of their heirs, Aiden, Finn, Ara, and Isla Silverpaw. 4 perfect pups, 2 sons, 2 daughters, a genetic jackpot most alphas only dream about. No handwritten note. No, we hope you can make it. The message didn't need words. It was printed in every curving letter. Look what the worthy are given. Come see what you could never be. Most women would burn it. Most would recognize the blade disguised as courtesy and walk away. I am not most women. My name is Ruth Waldrop. 3 years ago, I was Luna of the Silverpaw Pack for exactly 23 months, long enough to memorize every pitying glance, every whispered fertility rite suggestion. Every time Damien's gaze slid past me like I was furniture that had stopped being useful, I stood in the great hall wearing the same silver gown from our mating night, while he spoke the words that erased me. I, Damien Silverpaw, reject you, Ruth Waldrop, as my mate and Luna. The bond didn't break gently. It tore. Something inside me went quiet forever. Not a wolf. I never had one to lose. Just the fragile belief that love could ever be unconditional. My father, Pack Beta, always the diplomat, arranged the quiet exit. A generous settlement, a car waiting at the border. No public scene, just a polite erasure. I drove into a human city with nothing but the clothes I was wearing and the money I was too proud to touch for months. I rented a 1-bedroom above a used bookstore. I learned how to sleep alone. I learned how to pass pregnant women on the sidewalk without flinching. I learned how to exist without permission. I survived. And then the invitation arrived. I held it for 17 minutes before I called my landlady and said I'd be gone for a week. I packed one small bag, booked a car, started driving back toward the place that once carved its disappointment into my bones, because Damien had made one fatal mistake. He thought 3 years would leave me smaller, grateful, broken enough to stay gone. He had no idea what those 3 years had built. He didn't know about the 4 children who now called me mom, not from my body, but from the deliberate choice I made every single day after he threw me away. Regina, lyric, Ezra, Thalia, 4 young wolves discarded by their birth packs for the same reasons I was discarded. Too much, too different, too inconvenient. Each carried alpha blood older and fiercer than anything flowing through Silverpaw veins. Nightshade, shadow strength, gold crest, wildfire courage, moonborn silver wisdom, Emberfell living flame. Lines most packs had already written off as extinct. I hadn't spent 3 years mourning what I lost. I'd spent them choosing what I would keep, and when I walked back into his perfect ceremony tomorrow, I would not be walking in alone. The car crosses the Silverpaw boundary as the sun bleeds gold and crimson across the pines. 4 pairs of ancient eyes watch me from the back seat. Regina, 15. Obsidian stare, already taller than most grown men. Shoulders set like he's carrying the weight of every rejection he's ever survived. Lyric, 12. Copper hair catching fire in the dying light. Amber eyes sparking with barely contained mischief. Ezra, 13. Silver gaze tracking every shadow, quiet as moonlight, seeing more than he ever says. Thalia, 9. Small, fever-warm hand resting on my shoulder. The gentle heat of Emberfell fire that used to scare her so badly she'd hide under blankets until I coaxed her out. They aren't his children. They're mine, and tomorrow Damien Silverpaw is going to learn exactly what kind of family can be built from the ashes he left behind. The pack house looms ahead, marble columns that once framed my mating ceremony now look like prison bars in the twilight. 4 small hands find mine, one after another. We're not here to beg for acceptance. We're here to show what acceptance looks like when it's chosen, not granted. What happens when the rejected Luna walks back into hell and brings her own army? The pack house doors stand open like jaws in the twilight. I stop at the bottom of the wide stone steps. Marble columns rise on either side, the same ones that framed our mating ceremony 3 years ago. Back then, they felt like a promise. Now they look like bars. Thalia's small hand finds mine. Her palm is fever-warm, that gentle Emberfell heat that used to scare her so much she'd hide under blankets, until I coaxed her out with stories about dragons who learned to breathe softly. She doesn't say anything. She just squeezes once. I squeeze back. We've got this, little fire. Ezra appears at my other side, silent as always, silver eyes scanning the torchlit courtyard like he's already mapping escape routes. You're breathing too fast, he murmurs. Slow it down. In for 4, hold for 4. I match his rhythm without thinking. He's right. I was breathing like prey. Lyric bounces up the first step, copper hair catching the last red light like flame. Can we go in yet? I want to see his face when he realizes we're not here to beg. Language stays outside, I say, soft, automatic. She flashes that feral grin. Sorry, Mom. Forgot we're being classy tonight. Regina stays a half step behind me, broad shoulders set. Obsidian eyes tracking every wolf already gathered on the porch. At 15, He moves like he understands power the way most men only learn it at 30. Stay in formation, he says quietly. No one gets between us and the exits. I nod once. Then I climb. The entry hall hits like memory and muscle memory at once. Soaring beams, crystal chandelier throwing frozen stars across polished wood. Portraits of past alphas staring down with the same cold judgment they always had. The scent is overwhelming. Pine resin, furniture polish, too many dominant wolves in one enclosed space. Conversations stutter and die as we cross the threshold. Heads turn. Eyes catalog. My midnight blue silk dress, fitted, not flashy. I practiced the walk in front of a cracked mirror for weeks. The short bob brushing my jaw, Damien always preferred it long. The 3-inch heels that make my legs look endless and my stride deliberate. But mostly, they look at the 4 young wolves moving with me in perfect sync. We're not a random group. We're a unit, a family, a pack of our own making. Ruth, the voice is female, shocked, familiar enough to sting. I turn. Stella stands frozen mid-step, champagne flute halfway to her lips. Blonde waves perfect as ever. Designer dress that probably cost more than my rent for 6 months. Effortless beauty born from never having to question her place. We used to be inseparable. She held me after every negative test, helped pick my mating gown, swore nothing would come between us. Then Damien rejected me, and she sent one text. I'm so sorry, but I can't be associated with this situation. I hope you understand. I understood perfectly. Hello, Stella. My voice comes out calm, neutral. You look well. She blinks rapidly. We didn't think you'd actually come. When the invitation went out, everyone assumed. You assumed I'd have the dignity to stay away. I finish for her. To hide, to accept that exile was a kindness. Her cheeks flush. Her gaze darts to the children ranged around me, protective, watchful, radiating quiet power. Who are these? My family, I say. Simple, final. Regina, Lyric, Ezra, Thalia. Confusion flickers across her face. 3 years, barren, non-shifting. The math doesn't add up. Regina steps half a pace forward, not blocking, just claiming space. His voice is low, steady, already deeper than most men his age. You're in our way. Stella's eyes widen. A teenage boy speaking to an adult pack wolf-like that should trigger instant challenge. Instead, she takes one small step back. Instinct. Her wolf recognizing something in Regina that overrides etiquette. Of course, she says, voice tight. I should find my mate. It's good to see you, Ruth. She retreats into the crowd. Lyric whispers, point to us. I don't smile, but something warm flickers in my chest. We move deeper into the hall. The sea of wolves parts, not out of respect, but wariness. They sense it even if they can't name it yet. Power that doesn't answer to their alpha. Then I hear his voice. My body locks. Rebecca insisted we invite her, thought it would be gracious. Show there are no hard feelings. A low laugh, rich, confident, utterly without remorse. Though between you and me, I hope she has the sense not to actually show up. It would be awkward for everyone. Damien. 3 years since I heard that voice in person. My pulse still remembers it, still wants to answer, even though the bond is long dead, even though the man behind it proved himself unworthy of every tear I ever shed. I round the corner. There he is, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair swept back, tailored suit showing off the physique he's always been vain about, surrounded by visiting alphas, holding court like nothing has changed. He hasn't seen me yet, but he senses them. His head snaps up, nostrils flare. Wolf reacting to multiple alpha-blooded youngsters in his territory. His eyes scan, then lock on me. For one heartbeat, genuine shock. Raw, unfiltered. Then the mask slams down. Confusion, anger, something darker underneath. He excuses himself mid-sentence, strides toward us, alpha presence rolling out ahead of him like a wave, automatic dominance display. Except I have no wolf to submit, and my children were never taught to bow. Regina moves first. He steps forward, placing himself between me and Damien. 15 years old, facing a 32-year-old alpha. The air between them crackles. That's close enough, Regina says. Quiet, flat, final. Damien stops. I watch the calculations flicker behind his eyes. A child, a stranger. No right to speak like that in his territory. But this child radiates power that makes even Damien's wolf hesitate. A muscle ticks in Damien's jaw. I don't believe we've been introduced, he says, voice velvet over steel. I'm Alpha Damien Silverpaw. This is my pack house. And you are Regina Waldrop. No hand offered, no bow, just claiming my last name like armor, Ruth's son. The silence is sudden, absolute. Damien's gaze cuts to me, standing calm behind my wall of children. The question is written all over his face. How? I smile, not kind, not cruel, just certain. Hello, Damien, I say, voice carrying across the suddenly hushed room. Thank you for the invitation. We're looking forward to meeting your new family. His fists clench at his sides. Ruth, this is unexpected. Is it? I tilt my head. You sent the card. You wrote my name. You wanted me here. I didn't expect you to bring. He gestures vaguely at the 4 of them. Words fail him for once. My family, I finish. Innocent. Why wouldn't I bring my family to a family event? Someone in the crowd lets out a choked laugh, quickly smothered. Damien's eyes narrow. Perhaps we should speak privately. No. I step forward through the protective circle of my children until I'm close enough to see the faint flush creeping up his neck. Anything you need to say to me can be said here, I tell him. You had no problem making our separation public. Why should our reunion be private? His hands flex. You're causing a scene. I'm accepting your invitation. If that's a scene, maybe you shouldn't have sent it. Rebecca thought. He cuts himself off. Too late. I let the name hang between us. Ah, Rebecca, the one who could give you what I couldn't. I'm looking forward to meeting her. Ruth, Mom, Ezra says quietly from my left, voice calm but edged. People are staring. He's right. The entire hall has gone still. Phones are already discreetly raised. This will be all over pack channels by morning. Good. Let them see. Let them see I came back. Let them see I'm not broken. Let them see the alpha who once threw me away now looks at my children like they're a threat he can't name. You're right, I say. I take one deliberate step back. We should find our seats. The ceremony's about to start. I'm sure you have preparations. Damien looks like he wants to argue, like he wants to order us removed, but he can't, not without looking weak in front of every visiting alpha in the room. He nods, stiff. Seats are assigned. You'll find your name cards inside. He turns on his heel, stalks away, shoulders rigid. The room exhales. That went well, Lyric says brightly. Thalia giggles, small, bright sound cutting through the tension. Come on, I tell them. Let's go sit down. And remember, no matter what happens in there, we stay together. That's all that matters. All that matters, they echo soft, sure, like a vow. We move toward the main hall. I don't look back at Damien. I don't look at the wolves who once called me friend. The old hurt tries to rise. I let it come. Then I let it pass. I'm not that woman anymore. I'm the woman who survived him. I'm the woman who built something stronger than anything he ever offered. And tonight, this ceremony meant to mock me is about to become something else entirely. The main hall drowns in white roses. 4 bassinets wait on the dais like trophies. Damien is about to give the speech of his life. But I'm sitting in the back row with 4 ancient bloodline alphas who are about to steal the entire show. What happens when the rejected Luna turns his victory lap into her coronation? The main hall is drowning in white roses. They cascade from every chandelier, wrap every pillar, choke every table in towering centerpieces. The scent is thick, sweet, cloying, meant to feel like purity and new beginnings. It only makes my throat tighten. 4 bassinets wait on the raised dais, each draped in silver silk, embroidered with the silver paw crest. Behind them, 2 ornate chairs, thrones, really, sit empty for now. I spot our seats immediately. Back row, far left corner, as far from the platform as it's possible to be while still technically inside the room. Subtle, Regina mutters under his breath. Better view of the exits, I reply quietly. We settle among the pack's other edges. A couple demoted after a financial scandal. An elderly widow whose alpha son died heirless. A rogue teen recently allowed back in on probation. They glance at us. Curiosity, pity, wariness. I nod politely. My children arrange themselves around me like living armor. Regina on my right, Ezra on my left, Lyric and Thalia filling the gaps. Thalia leans into my side. Her small hand finds mine under the table. Warm, steady. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. A hush falls over the room. Damien enters through the side door. Rebecca beside him, ethereal in pale pink silk, cradling one pup against her chest, 3 more carried behind by pack members like royal offerings. The crowd rises as one: tradition, respect, muscle memory. I rise too. I don't drop my gaze. They reach the dais. Damien raises one hand. Silence falls instantly. Thank you all for coming. His voice rolls through the hall, warm for the audience, amplified by acoustics and alpha authority. Today marks a historic moment for the Silverpaw Pack. After years of uncertainty, the goddess has blessed us with 4 healthy heirs. A cheer erupts. I stay silent, hands clasped in front of me. My mate, Luna Rebecca, has given me the greatest gift any alpha could ask for. His eyes find hers, the look between them soft enough to twist something in my chest. She has secured our future. She has proven that the goddess provides for those who are worthy. Worthy. The word lands like a slap. Regina's hand brushes my shoulder, instinctive. I shake my head once. Not yet. Damien continues. Bloodlines, destiny, the strength of the Silverpaw legacy. Rebecca stands serene beside him, the perfect picture of Luna Grace. The 4 pups are presented one by one. Aiden, firstborn son; Ara, elder daughter; Finn, younger son; Isla, the baby. Each name met with applause, traditional blessings, gifts from visiting alphas trying to outshine each other. They're beautiful. I'll give them that. Dark hair like their father. Delicate features that will one day mirror Rebecca's. Everything he wanted. Everything I couldn't give. The formal blessings drag on, tedious, self-congratulatory. I watch like I'm observing a play I've seen before. Then Damien does something I don't expect. Before we conclude the formal portion, he says, voice shifting to something softer, almost gentle, I want to acknowledge someone who is here today, someone whose presence demonstrates the magnanimity and forgiveness that defines the Silverpaw Pack. My blood turns cold. Ruth Waldrop, my former mate, has chosen to attend this ceremony despite our difficult history. His eyes find mine across the room. Something in that gaze makes my skin crawl, not anger, not triumph. Pity, calculated, public pity. I want to thank her publicly for her grace in accepting that some things are simply not meant to be, that the goddess's plans sometimes require us to move forward separately. The room goes deathly quiet. Every eye turns to the back corner. To me. Ruth, he continues, voice dripping with false compassion. I hope you can find joy in witnessing what the goddess has provided for those who are compatible, and I hope you've found peace in whatever new life you've built. It's masterful. He's positioned himself as the gracious alpha who bears no grudge. He's reminded everyone I was rejected because I was defective. He's put me on the spot, expecting me to respond with equal humility, to thank him for inviting me to my own humiliation, to validate his story that my exile was divine will, not his cruelty. Old instinct screams at me to shrink, to murmur something polite, to disappear again. But I'm not that woman anymore. I rise slowly. The room's attention sharpens to a blade. My children rise with me, a silent, united front. Thank you, Alpha Damien, I say. My voice carries clear despite the distance. You're right that the goddess's plans can surprise us. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. I thought being cast out was the end of my story. I pause, let the words settle. I was wrong. It was the beginning. I gesture to the 4 young wolves beside me. They stand straighter, letting the room really see them. Not accessories, not mysteries. Power, ancient, undeniable. The goddess didn't give me biological children. And yes, my body couldn't do that. But she gave me these 4 souls who needed a mother as much as I needed them. Regina, Lyric, Ezra, Thalia, cast out by their birth packs for reasons that had nothing to do with their worth, and everything to do with politics and prejudice. Damien's expression flickers, confusion creeping in. Each carries alpha blood, ancient bloodlines that predate Silverpaw by generations. Nightshade, Goldcrest, Moonborn, Emberfell. The names land like stones in still water. Murmurs ripple through the older wolves who know the histories. Lines thought lost, lines thought irrelevant. They're standing right here. So thank you, Damien, for the invitation. My smile is small, genuine. Thank you for reminding me that family isn't about biology, or fate, or even the mate bond. It's about choice. It's about showing up when the world says you shouldn't. It's about building something beautiful from the wreckage of broken dreams. I look straight at him. Congratulations on your 4 beautiful pups. I hope they bring you the joy and security you wanted. And I hope, more than anything, they never have to learn what it feels like to be told they're unworthy. I sit. The silence is profound. No one knows how to react. Applaud, condemn the quiet jab. Acknowledge that the rejected, barren former Luna just claimed to be raising 4 ancient bloodline alphas. Damien's face has gone carefully blank, but his eyes burn. Rebecca leans over, whispers something in his ear. He shakes his head once, sharp. Yes, well, he says, voice strained. We all find our paths eventually. Let us continue with the blessings. But the energy has shifted. People aren't watching the dais anymore. They're craning to look at us, studying my children, trying to calculate what it means. Ancient bloodlines, 4 of them, raised by the woman he called worthless. Thalia's small hand finds mine under the table again. Was that okay? She whispers. I squeeze. That was perfect, little fire. Lyric grins. He looks mad. Ezra corrects softly. He looks confused. He didn't expect you to fight back. Regina's voice is quiet pride. Nobody expects her to fight back. That's her advantage. The ceremony drags on. More blessings, more speeches, more performances of pack unity. I sit calmly in my corner seat, children around me, and refuse to look away. This is my victory. Small, quiet, but undeniable. I came back to the place that broke me, and I didn't break again. I stood in front of my ex-mate and his perfect new family, and I claimed my own worth. Finally, the formal portion ends. Damien announces refreshments in the garden. The crowd begins to disperse. Some head for exits. Others drift toward tables. A concerning number start moving toward us. Incoming, Regina murmurs. The first to reach us isn't hostile. It's Alpha Theodore of Clearwater, pack, older, silver-threaded dark hair, eyes that have seen too much. Ruth Waldrop. He extends a hand. I knew your grandfather, served with him on the regional council before his passing. I shake cautiously. If even half of what you said about these young ones' bloodlines is true. His gaze moves over my children with open interest. The nightshade line alone. None of your concern, Regina cuts in polite, but iron. Theodore raises an eyebrow. Not offended. Impressed, maybe. Fair enough. But the offer stands. The council would like to verify those claims. Ancient bloodlines carry rights, protections, seats, territory claims under old law. He hands me a card. Call any time. He leaves. 2 more wolves take his place. A young couple, hesitant. We heard what you said. The woman begins, voice hushed. About building family by choice. We've been trying for years. 5 miscarriages. The doctor says my body can't carry to term. Her mate wraps an arm around her. The council says adoption weakens the bloodline. My heart aches, familiar ache. I remember that desperation. Adoption doesn't weaken anything, I say firmly. It strengthens. Love strengthens. Choice strengthens. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The woman's eyes fill. Thank you. We needed to hear that. They move away. The flood begins. Wolves approach one after another, curious, hostile, desperate for validation of their own non-traditional families. Each conversation is a small battle. A chance to reinforce or undermine the story I've just told. Through it all, Damien watches from the dais. Rebecca has taken the pups somewhere quiet. He stands alone, supervising, tense. He doesn't approach, doesn't try to reassert control. That silence says more than any words could. After an hour, my feet ache in the heels. My face hurts from holding composure. I want to leave this place and never come back. Can we go now? Thalia asks softly. Everyone smells angry. Soon, I promise. Just a little longer. But before we can move, Rebecca appears. She's alone. Pups left with someone else. Up close, she's even more striking. Porcelain skin, honey-warm eyes, grace that looks effortless. She approaches our table with measured steps. Expression carefully neutral. Ruth, she says quietly, may I speak with you privately? Every instinct screams danger. This is Damien's mate, the woman who gave him everything I couldn't. But I'm curious. My children stay with me, I tell her. Of course. She glances at them. Something flickers in her eyes. Envy, longing. I wouldn't ask you to separate from your family. We move to a quiet corner of the garden. Evening air cool against overheated skin. The fountain's murmur masks our words. Rebecca takes a shaky breath. I want to apologize. Not what I expected. For what? For the invitation. for this whole ceremony. She looks back toward the hall, expression complicated. Damien said it was goodwill, showing no hard feelings. But I'm not stupid. I know what it really was. A way to twist the knife one last time. I study her. Then why go along with it? Because I'm his mate. Because I'm Luna. Because sometimes we do things for the partnership, even when we hate them. She meets my eyes. But I'm not cruel. I don't take pleasure in your pain. How generous, I say drily. She flinches, just a little. You have every right to hate me. I don't hate you, Rebecca. I don't know you well enough to hate you. I soften slightly. You're not the one who rejected me. You're not the one who called me worthless in front of the pack. You're just the one who could give him heirs. Children, she corrects quietly. Heirs, I say. Let's not pretend it's the same. Silence stretches between us. Two women bound only by the man who valued one for production and discarded the other for failing at it. Your children, she says finally. The bloodlines you mentioned. Is it true? Every word. How did you find them? They found me. I glance back toward the table where my four are waiting, watchful, protective. One by one. Discarded for being too much, too different, too inconvenient. I took them in. They gave me a reason to keep breathing. Rebecca's hand drifts to her stomach, unconscious gesture. I see it then. You're pregnant again. She startles. How did you, the way you're standing? The way you keep touching your abdomen. I shrug. I've seen it before. 6 weeks, she admits. We haven't told anyone yet. The 4 were from my first pregnancy. This one was unexpected. 5 children total. The goddess really did bless her. I wait for jealousy to rise. It doesn't. Congratulations, I say, and mean it. Her eyes shine. Thank you. That's more generous than I deserve. You deserve to be happy, Rebecca. You deserve a family that loves you, not just what you can produce. She looks away, toward the hall where Damien still stands. He doesn't talk about you. Ever, I've asked. He shuts down. All I know is the gossip that you couldn't shift, couldn't conceive, that the rejection was necessary. That's the clean version, I tell her. The truth is messier, more cruel, but it doesn't matter anymore. He's not my problem. He's been different today, she admits. Agitated, angry. Seeing you here, seeing your children, it's shaken him. Good. My voice is calm. He invited me here to prove he was right. Instead, I proved his rejection was the best thing that ever happened to me. Rebecca actually smiles, small, real. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone broken, someone bitter, someone who would make a scene and prove all his decisions right. She shakes her head. You're strong, elegant, clearly a good mother. And those children love you fiercely. I see it in how they watch you, how they protect you. They're everything, I say simply. Everything I thought I'd lost when he rejected me. Family, purpose, love that doesn't depend on my body performing. She looks down at her hands. I envy that, the unconditional part. Her voice drops. Sometimes I wonder if he'd still want me if I couldn't give him children anymore. The crack in the perfect facade. Then leave, I tell her bluntly. Before you find out. She laughs, hollow. I can't, I'm Luna. I have 4 pups. Soon 5, my life is here. So was mine, I left anyway. You had no choice. I had every choice. I could have fought the rejection, demanded my rights, made his life hell. Instead, I chose dignity. I chose to build something new instead of clinging to something dead. That choice saved me. Rebecca is quiet for a long moment. Finally, she says, I should get back. The pups need feeding. She starts to walk away, then pauses. Ruth, I hope you find real happiness. The kind that doesn't need anyone else's permission. I already have, I tell her. But thank you. She disappears into the crowd. I stand there a moment, letting her words settle. Then I return to my children. That was weird, Lyric says. That was sad, Thalia corrects softly. She's trapped. She made her choices, Ezra says pragmatically, just like Mom made hers. Regina takes my hand, squeezes once. Come on, I tell them. Let's go home. We head for the exit. A few more wolves try to stop us, more questions about bloodlines, more curiosity. I deflect politely. Keep moving. We're almost to the doors when Damien steps into our path. Leaving so soon. The ceremony's over, I say. We've paid our respects. There's nothing left to keep us here. We need to talk about those claims you made about your children. They're not claims. They're facts. Ancient bloodlines carry weight, rights, protections, territory claims under old agreements. If you're worried I'm lying to look important, I'm worried you're painting targets on their backs, he says, voice low. And yours. Regina steps forward again. We're not your concern. You're on my territory as my invited guests. I cut in. You invited me, Damien. You opened the door. Don't act surprised when I walk through it on my own terms. We stare at each other. I see the moment he realizes this isn't the script he wrote. He wanted me humiliated, diminished, grateful. Instead, I just proved I don't need him to thrive. This isn't over, he says quietly. Yes, I tell him. It is. It ended 3 years ago when you rejected me. Everything since then has just been you refusing to accept that you don't get to define my worth anymore. I step around him. My children follow. We walk out of the Silverpaw pack house, heads high, hands linked. The night air tastes like freedom. In the car, Regina speaks from the back seat. You did it. You faced him. And you won. We won, I correct. All of us together. I take one last look in the rearview mirror. The pack house glows like a beacon, still full of celebration. But I'm leaving it behind. For good. Because I finally understand the truth. It took 3 years and 4 chosen children to learn. The opposite of belonging isn't exile, it's freedom. Rehook 3 hours later, the adrenaline crashes, and the real danger begins. Damien's text arrives while we're still on the highway. Those children deserve better than a delusional human playing at motherhood. He's not finished, and now the law is about to become his next weapon. What happens when the man who threw you away decides your family is too valuable to leave in your hands? The drive home is 3 hours of quiet. No one speaks for the first hour. We're all still carrying the weight of the night. The stares, the whispers, Damien's barely contained fury, Rebecca's cracked facade. The adrenaline that kept us sharp has drained away, leaving bone-deep exhaustion in its place. Thalia breaks the silence first. "Mom," her voice is small from the booster seat. "Are we in trouble now?" I glance at her in the rearview mirror. Her green eyes are wide, not scared exactly, but searching. That man, the Alpha, he was really angry when we left. She hugs her blanket tighter. Faint heat shimmers off her skin like summer pavement. "What if he comes after us?" Regina answers before I can. "He won't." His voice is low, steady, already carrying the weight of someone much older. "He has no legal right. We're not in his pack. We're not on his land. We didn't break any laws tonight." Ezra's silver gaze stays fixed on the dark trees flashing past, but he knows about us now, about the bloodlines. That kind of information has value, and people do dangerous things when they see value. He's right. By naming those ancient lines in a room full of territorial alphas and power-hungry council members, I've painted targets on all our backs: Nightshade, Shadow Strength; Gold Crest, Wildfire, Courage; Moonborn, Silver, Wisdom; and Burfell, Living Flame. Lines most packs thought extinct or conveniently irrelevant until tonight. The car's heater hums against the sudden chill in my fingers. "I'll protect you," I say, forcing the words to sound certain, even though my chest feels hollow. "All of you. That's my job, and I've never failed at it yet." Lyric leans forward between the seats, copper hair catching dashboard glow. "You couldn't protect yourself from him, though. Not cruel, just honest. From what he did to you, how are you supposed to protect us from a whole system?" The question lands like a stone in still water. I take a slow breath, matching the rhythm Ezra taught me earlier. "You're right," I admit. "I couldn't stop Damien from rejecting me. I couldn't stop the pack from letting him. I couldn't make my body do what everyone said it should." I meet each pair of eyes in the mirror: Regina's steady obsidian, Lyric's sparking amber, Ezra's quiet silver, Thalia's trusting green. But that's because I was trying to survive inside their rules, their hierarchy, their idea of what makes someone worthy. "So what changed?" Regina asks, voice quiet but carrying weight. "I stopped playing by their rules. The road curves, headlights sweep across dark pines. When I found each of you, when you found me, I didn't try to fit you back into the packs that threw you away. I didn't beg for their approval. I just took you home, gave you a place where being different wasn't a flaw to fix, where your bloodlines weren't chains, they were gifts." Thalia's small voice pipes up. "You made us a pack." I smile, small, real. "I made us a family, which is stronger." Ezra traces an invisible pattern on the window glass. Packs have laws, hierarchies, resources. Families just have love. Love doesn't stop legal challenges, I say, or territorial claims, or alphas who suddenly decide your children are too valuable to leave with a human. Regina's hand finds the back of my seat, solid, grounding. Then we learn the laws. We claim what's ours, and we get strong enough that no one can take us apart. Silence again, but different now. Not heavy, determined. By the time we pull up to our building, the converted warehouse loft in the Arts District, it's nearly midnight. The kids are dragging, even lyric. Bed, I order as we climb the stairs. All of you. We'll talk more tomorrow. Pancakes first. They grumble but obey. Doors close. Water runs. Bed frames creak. I collapse onto the pull-out couch, still in my dress, heels kicked off somewhere near the door. My phone buzzes. 17 missed calls. 43 texts. I scroll, detached. Stella. Oh my God, Ruth, what did you do? Everyone's talking. Call me. Mrs. Yarn, you were magnificent tonight. But please be careful. You've made powerful people uncomfortable. Alpha Theodore Clearwater, serious about that conversation. Call anytime. Unknown Damien. Those children deserve better than a delusional human playing at motherhood. DS. I delete his message without replying. He wants rage. He wants to drag me back into his game. I won't play. One message stops me cold. Rebecca, thank you for tonight, for being honest, for showing me what real strength looks like. I won't forget it. I stare at the words a long time. No reply feels right yet. The phone rings, unknown local number. I answer anyway. Ruth Waldrop, a crisp female voice. Lydia Thornwhisper, Pack Law and Bloodline Rights Specialist. I was at the ceremony tonight. It's midnight. I'm aware, apologies. But this can't wait until morning. Words already spreading about the bloodlines you named. Once it reaches the regional council, and it will, there will be challenges, territory disputes, possibly attempts to separate you from those children on the grounds that a human-born guardian isn't qualified to raise alpha-blooded pups. My heart stutters. They can't do that. They can try. And without documented proof of lineage and legal protection, they might succeed. A pause. I want to help you stop it. Pro bono if necessary, because what you're doing, raising discarded pups, building family by choice, matters. And I won't let them take it away. Why help me? I ask bluntly. Because 20 years ago, I was one of those discarded pups. Riverstone pack, born without a wolf. They waited, hoping I'd shift late. When I didn't, they let me age out into human foster care. I survived, put myself through law school. Now, I use what I learned to help others who don't fit the mold. Others like us. The words settle like warmth. Okay, I say. Tomorrow, your office. 10 a.m. Text the address. Bring anything you have, birth records, medical notes, anything that proves lineage. The more we have, the stronger our position. I'll bring what I've got. And Ruth, be careful. You kicked a hornet's nest tonight. Not everyone will come at you as obviously as your ex-mate. She hangs up. I sit in the dark living room, phone still warm in my hand, and let the weight crash down. I went to that ceremony to prove I'd survived. To show Damien His rejection hadn't broken me. To walk in with my head high and my children at my side. I succeeded, but in succeeding, I've exposed us to dangers I never fully calculated. Legal challenges, territory grabs, powerful wolves who see my children as resources or threats to be controlled. I wanted to protect them. Instead, I might have painted targets on their backs. Mom, Regina stands in the hallway, sleep pants, no shirt, obsidian eyes concerned in the dim light. I thought you were asleep. I was, heard the phone. He pads over, sits beside me on the couch. Shoulder presses against mine, solid, grounding. Who was that? A lawyer. She wants to help us protect our right to stay together. Which means someone's going to try to take us away. Maybe. Probably. I lean my head against his shoulder. I'm sorry, Regina. I didn't think it through. I just wanted to show them we were okay, that we'd built something good. I didn't think about the cost. Don't apologize for being proud of us. His voice is firm. Don't apologize for standing up to him. You did exactly what you needed to do. And if people come for us because of it, we'll face them together. You're 15, I whisper. You shouldn't have to face any of this. I'm Nightshade, alpha-blooded. He counters without heat. I was born to stand my ground, even when the odds are bad. Even when the system says I'm too much. He shifts, looks at me directly. You saved me, Mom. When the Nightshade pack dumped me at 8, called me too aggressive, too dominant, wiped my name from their records like I was never born. I thought I was broken, worthless, a mistake they were correcting. Regina. But then you showed up. This small human woman with no wolf, no pack, no reason to care about some angry pup no one else wanted. And you looked at me and said, you're not broken, you're just strong. And strong isn't wrong. His voice cracks just once. You gave me a home, a family, a reason to believe I wasn't a monster. So if protecting this family means learning pack law, claiming territory, facing down alphas, then that's what I'll do. That's what we'll all do. I pull him into a hug, this boy becoming a man, already braver and wiser than he should have to be. When did you get so wise? Learned from the best. We sit like that, mother and son, until I convince him to go back to bed, but I stay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, thinking about what's coming. Legal battles, territory disputes, powerful wolves who want to use my children or erase them, and Damien, somewhere in his pack house, furious that I dared to show I didn't need him to thrive. 3 years ago, I thought my story was ending. Now I understand it was just the prologue. The real story, the one about a woman who built a family from the wreckage and had to fight the entire world to keep it, is only beginning. The next morning pancakes are on the table, but the mood is heavy. Lydia's office is waiting. When the lawyer lays out the map of 300 acres of neutral, warded forest, abandoned, waiting for the right blood to wake it, the price of real freedom suddenly becomes very real. But Damien already knows what we're planning, and he's not going to let us have it without a fight. Saturday morning arrives clear and cold. The kind of sharp winter light that makes everything feel possible and terrifying at once. We load the car in near silence. Boxes of books, clothes, Thalia's favorite blanket, Ezra's notebooks, Lyric's half-finished sketchbook, Regina's training gear. Not everything we own, just enough to start something new. Lydia meets us at the edge of the neutral territory. 312 acres of old-growth forest, abandoned since the last pack war 2 generations ago. Warded once, long ago. Silent now. Waiting. She's smaller than I remembered, barely 5 feet. But she carries herself like someone twice that size. Iron gray hair in a severe bun. Pale blue eyes that miss nothing. "You're sure about this?" she asks, handing me the freshly filed claim papers. Once we cross the old boundary stones and wake the wards with their blood, there's no undoing it. The regional council will know within hours. Damien will know within minutes. I look at my children ranged behind me like sentinels. Regina meets my eyes first. Obsidian steady. We're sure. Lyric grins, feral, bright. "Let's wake this place up." Ezra nods once, silver gaze calm. "It's ours by right. Let's make it feel like home." Thalia slips her warm hand into mine. "I want a room with a window to the trees." I squeeze her fingers. "Then that's what you'll have." Lydia leads us through the first line of pines. The air changes thicker, older, humming with something that prickles the skin. We reach the boundary stones, 4 weathered granite pillars carved with faded runes, half buried in moss and time. She stops. This is where it begins. The wards recognize ancient blood. 4 distinct lines standing together should be enough to reactivate them. But it's not guaranteed. If the land's been dormant too long, it might reject you, or worse, lash out. Regina steps forward without hesitation. We're not asking permission. We're claiming what's ours. Lydia nods, respect flickering in her eyes. I position them at the cardinal points. 1 child per stone. Regina north shadow. Lyric east fire. Ezra south moon. Thalia west ember. I stand at the center. Heart of the compass rose carved faintly into the forest floor. Lydia speaks the old invocation, words in a language older than any pack alive today. By blood remembered, by choice reclaimed, awaken, ward, and know your own. One by one, they press their palms to the stones. Nothing at first, just cold granite. Winter wind our breathing. Then a low hum. It starts in the earth, deep, resonant, like a heartbeat waking after centuries of sleep. The runes on the stones flicker, faint silver light tracing old carvings. Regina's stone darkens first, shadows curling around his hand like smoke, welcoming. Lyric's flares gold, warm, bright, almost playful. Ezra's glows cool silver, steady, luminous, ancient. Thalia's ignites red, living ember, heat shimmering the air. The lines connect, light threading between the stones, forming a perfect circle around me. The hum rises to a roar. Power surges up through the ground, wild, alive, tasting of pine and storm and forgotten oaths. It rushes into me, not painful, but overwhelming, like stepping into a river that remembers every soul that ever crossed it. I stagger. Regina starts toward me, but the light holds him in place. The wards snap into being. A dome of faint, shimmering energy rises, invisible to human eyes, but every wolf in 100 miles will feel it. Claim made. Sanctuary established. The light fades. The hum quiets. The forest feels different. Alive. Hours. Lydia exhales, long, shaky. It worked. Goddess above. It actually worked. Thalia runs to me first, throwing her arms around my waist. It's warm here now, like it's happy we came. I hold her tight, tears stinging my eyes. Ezra walks the perimeter, silver gaze tracing the invisible boundary. The wards are strong, old magic. They'll hold against most challenges. Lyric spins in place, arms wide. This is ours, like really ours. Regina stays near the North Stone, hand still resting on it. His voice is quiet. We're safe here. For now. I look at Lydia. How long until the council knows? Hours, maybe less. Damien's got friends on every committee. He'll be informed before lunch. She hands me a thick envelope. Temporary injunction, papers filed this morning. They can't remove the children without a full hearing now, but they'll try to fast-track a custody review. And they'll challenge the claim itself. Say, a human-born guardian can't hold bloodline territory. I nod. We expected that. Lydia looks at the four of them, then at me. You've done something unprecedented tonight. 4 ancient lines waking a dead territory under a non-wolf guardian. That's going to scare people. Scared people get vicious. Regina steps closer. Let them try. Lydia smiles, small, fierce. I like you, kid. She turns to leave, then pauses. One more thing. The wards will recognize anyone you explicitly invite, but they'll repel anyone who means harm. Use that wisely. She disappears into the trees. We stand in the center of our new home, boxes at our feet, forest breathing around us. Thalia tugs my sleeve. Can we pick rooms now? I laugh, shaky, real. Yeah, little fire. Let's go see what we've claimed. We walk deeper into the woods, toward the old pack house, half hidden among the pines. Stone walls, tall windows, a tower room with a view of the entire valley. It's dusty, neglected, perfect. We spend the afternoon claiming spaces. No arguments, just quiet agreements. Thalia wants the smallest room with the biggest window. Lyric takes the one with morning light for her sketches. Ezra chooses the study, already planning shelves. Regina picks the room nearest the main door, protector, by instinct. I take the tower, high enough to see anyone coming. As the sun drops, we gather in the main room. Fireplace lit for the first time in decades. Blankets on the floor. Pancakes reheated on a portable stove. Regina breaks the comfortable quiet. We need to talk about what happens if they come for us. I nod. We fight. Legally first. Physically if we have to. But we don't run. Not anymore. Ezra looks up from his notebook. The wards give us time. They can't just walk in. They'll need a council order. And even then, the land will resist. Lyric grins. Let them try. I want to see their faces when the forest says no. Thalia curls against my side, warm, safe. We're together. That's what matters. I kiss the top of her head. That's what matters. My phone buzzes, unknown number. I answer. Damien's voice, low, controlled, furious in a way I've never heard before. You think you can just claim territory and keep them. Those children belong to ancient lines. They deserve proper guidance. Pack structure. Not whatever this is. They belong to themselves, I say calmly. And they chose me. You're human, Ruth. You can't protect them from what's coming. I already have. Silence stretches. Then, quieter, almost broken, you were supposed to stay gone. The line goes dead. I set the phone down. Regina's eyes meet mine. He's scared. I nod. Good. Outside the windows the wards shimmer. Faint silver gold red black light, pulsing in rhythm with our heartbeats. The forest breathes with us. We are home. And no one, not Damien, not the council, not the entire pack system, is going to take that away without a fight. 2 days later, the first official notice arrives, delivered by council courier, who can't cross the boundary line. Custody review hearing scheduled in 14 days. Territorial claim challenged by 5 alphas, Damien leading the list. But Rebecca's letter arrives the same morning, slipped through the wards by someone who knows how to ask permission. She's left him, taken the pups. And she's asking for one thing, sanctuary. What happens when the woman who replaced you shows up at your door, asking for the same freedom you fought for? The first week in the new territory passes in a strange, suspended rhythm. Mornings are for unpacking boxes giving way to shelves, corners filling with familiar things that suddenly feel new. Afternoons belong to the forest. Regina running the perimeter with Lydia's old boundary maps, testing how far the wards stretch, Lyric sketching the strange glowing runes that appear on tree bark at dusk. Ezra buried in the dusty library we found in the East Wing, piecing together fragments of pack history older than any living wolf, Thalia coaxing tiny controlled flames from her fingertips, while I sit beside her with a bucket of water, just in case. Evenings are quiet. Fireplace, stories. The 4 of them curled around me on the oversized couch, like pups who still remember being small. The wards hum softly, a constant, comforting heartbeat. Black for Regina's shadow, gold for Lyric's fire, silver for Ezra's moon, red for Thalia's ember. They pulse in time with our breathing now, proof the land has accepted us. But acceptance doesn't mean safety. On the 8th morning, a council courier arrives, stops at the boundary line like he's hit an invisible wall. He shouts the notice across the clearing. Custody review hearing in 6 days. Territorial claim challenged by Alpha Damien Silverpaw and 4 co-signatories. Failure to appear will result in default judgment. Regina takes the papers from him, careful not to cross the line. The courier leaves without another word. We read the challenge in silence around the kitchen table. Damien's signature is bold, almost angry. The grounds are predictable, human-born guardian unfit to hold ancient bloodline territory. Bloodlines unverified, potential fraud. Non-pack entity claiming neutral land sets dangerous precedent. Immediate custody review required for the welfare of 4 alpha-blooded minors. Lydia arrives an hour later, face grim. They're moving fast. Damien's coalition is strong, Clearwater, Iron Ridge, 2 smaller packs. They want a quick ruling before we can build more precedent. She spreads documents across the table. We have the injunction. They can't remove the children without a full hearing, but they'll push for emergency placement during the review. Temporary pack guardianship until lineage is confirmed. Regina's jaw tightens. They'll try to split us. Lydia nods. That's the play. 4 different bloodlines, 4 different packs. Easier to control separately. Thalia's small hand finds mine under the table. Warm, steady. I squeeze. They won't touch you. But the words feel thinner than I want them to. That afternoon the wards shimmer, different this time. Not threat. Request. Someone is asking permission to cross. I walk to the north boundary stone with Regina at my side. Ezra trails behind, silver eyes watchful. A woman stands just beyond the line, alone. No escort, no weapon. Just a large duffel bag at her feet and 4 small bundled shapes in a carrier harness across her chest. Rebecca. She looks smaller than I remember, hair pulled back in a simple knot. No makeup. Eyes red-rimmed, not from crying, but from exhaustion. She raises both hands, palms open. I'm not here to fight. I'm asking for sanctuary. Regina growls low, instinctive. Rebecca doesn't flinch. I step closer to the boundary. The wards hum, assessing intent. They don't flare. They don't reject. Why, I ask. She swallows. I left him. Filed for separation. Took the pups. My father's pack won't shelter us. They say it's Silverpaw business. The council is pressuring them to return us. I have nowhere else to go. Her voice cracks, just once. You showed me what real strength looks like, not the kind alphas shout about. The quiet kind. The kind that chooses love over security. I'm asking you to extend that choice to us. Just until the hearing. Just until I can stand on my own. Regina's hand finds my shoulder, warning. She could be a spy or bait. Rebecca looks straight at him. I'm not, but I understand why you'd think that. She shifts the carrier. 1 pup fusses softly. I brought proof. Divorce filing. Temporary custody order from a neutral magistrate. My father's written refusal to harbor me. She pulls an envelope from her coat, holds it out. The wards allow it to cross paper, fluttering to the ground between us. I pick it up, scan quickly. Everything checks. Rebecca meets my eyes again. I know what I did, standing silent while he destroyed you. I know I don't deserve this, but my children do. They didn't choose him. They didn't choose me staying. They just want to be safe. Thalia steps out from behind me, small, curious. One of Rebecca's pups makes a soft noise, reaching tiny fingers toward her. Thalia tilts her head. They're warm, like me. Rebecca's eyes fill. They're scared, like I was. I look at my children one by one. Regina, protective, skeptical, but listening. Lyric, arms crossed, but eyes soft on the pups. Ezra, calculating, weighing risk against mercy. Thalia, already stepping closer to the boundary, trusting. I turn back to Rebecca. You cross this line, you live by our rules. No secrets, no back channels to Damien, no playing both sides. You hurt my children, even by accident, and the wards will spit you out. Literally, she nods fast. I swear it. I look at Regina. He studies her a long moment, then steps aside. The wards part, shimmering open like a curtain. Rebecca crosses. The moment her foot touches our side, the dome flares once, bright, welcoming, then settles. She exhales, shaky. Thank you. I don't smile, not yet. We're not friends, I tell her. We're not family, you're a guest. Until the hearing. After that, we'll see. She nods again, grateful, exhausted. Thalia tugs my sleeve. Can they sleep in my room tonight? They're little. They might be scared. Rebecca's eyes overflow, silent tears. I look down at Thalia, my little fire, already offering warmth to strangers. Yeah, I say softly. They can sleep in your room. We walk back to the house, Rebecca carrying her pups, my children flanking her like an honor guard, not friendly, not yet, but willing to try. That night, I stand on the tower balcony, watching the wards pulse in rhythm with 6 heartbeats now, not 4. Regina joins me, silent for a long time. She could be useful, he says finally. Inside knowledge of Damien's plans. Witness testimony if we need it. Or she could be a knife at our back. He nods. Either way, we watch. I put my arm around his shoulders. He doesn't pull away. Below us, the house glows, warm windows, soft voices, the quiet sounds of children settling. Rebecca's pups are crying softly. New place, new smells. Thalia's voice drifts up through the open window, singing the dragon lullaby she used to need when she was scared. The crying quiets. Regina's voice is barely a whisper. You gave her sanctuary after everything. I look out at the forest, our forest. I didn't do it for her, I say. I did it for them. I nod toward the house. The pups, Thalia, Lyric, Ezra, you, because the moment we start deciding who's worthy of safety based on who their parents are, we become the thing we ran from. He leans his head against mine, just for a moment. Still feels risky. It is. I tighten my arm around him. But we've never been safe, Regina. We've just been together. And that's always been enough. Below us, Thalia's song ends. Silence, peaceful, fragile, real. The wards pulse once stronger. Like the land itself is agreeing. We are not just surviving anymore. We are building something new. And no one, not Damien, not the council, not even our own doubts, is going to tear it down without going through all of us first. 4 days until the hearing. Lydia arrives at dawn with news. Damien's coalition has filed an emergency motion, claiming the ward activation was coerced magic and demanding immediate seizure of the territory and children for protective custody. But Rebecca, sitting at our kitchen table, cradling one of her pups, looks up from the papers and says 5 words that change everything. I'll testify against him. What happens when the woman who replaced you becomes your strongest witness and the key to keeping your family whole? 6 days until the hearing. The house has already begun to feel lived in. Corners softened by lyric sketches pinned to walls. Ezra's books stacked in neat towers. Thalia's small shoes lined up by the door like sentinels. Rebecca's pups have claimed the rug in front of the fireplace. 4 tiny bundles of dark hair and restless limbs. Rebecca herself moves quietly, helping where she can, staying out of the way when she can't. She doesn't speak unless spoken to. She doesn't ask for more than we've given. But the tension is a living thing now. Lydia arrives every morning at dawn, papers under one arm, coffee in the other. Today she drops a thick folder on the kitchen table with a thud that makes Thalia's pups startle. Damien's coalition just filed their final exhibit list. She opens the folder, spreads pages like battle maps, character witnesses from Silverpaw loyalists, pack psychologists claiming non-traditional upbringing causes identity instability, bloodline historians arguing ancient lines require structured mentorship only packs can provide. Regina scans the list, jaw tight. They're painting Mom as unstable, overwhelmed, dangerous. Lydia nods. That's the angle. They're not saying you're evil. They're saying you're inadequate, human, isolated. No pack support network. Rebecca looks up from feeding one of her pups. Her voice is quiet, but steady. I can testify against him. The room stills. Lydia turns slowly. You understand what that means. Testifying against your former mate in open council will burn every bridge you have left in pack society. You'll be blacklisted, exiled in all but name. Rebecca's eyes meet mine, not pleading, resolved. I know, but I've spent years staying silent while he hurt people. First Ruth, now my own pups, treating them like assets instead of children. Her hand strokes the tiny head nestled against her. If I stay quiet now, I become him. Regina studies her long, measuring look. What exactly would you say? Rebecca exhales, shaky but sure. I'd say he rejected Ruth publicly to humiliate her, not because pack law required it, but because it suited his pride. I'd say he never loved her. He loved what she represented. Alliance, status, heirs. When she couldn't deliver heirs, he erased her. I'd say the invitation was never goodwill. It was a power play. A way to remind her she was nothing. And I'd say, her voice cracks, just once, that I stood by and let it happen. Because I was afraid of losing my place. Because I thought security mattered more than right. Silence stretches, thick, heavy. Thalia reaches across the table, small hand resting on Rebecca's wrist. Warm, gentle. "It's okay to be scared," she says softly. "Mom was scared too, but she chose us anyway." Rebecca's eyes fill, but she doesn't look away. Lydia closes the folder. "If you're serious, we need your testimony locked in writing today. Sworn affidavit. We'll call you as a surprise witness. Damien won't see it coming." Rebecca nods. "I'm serious." The rest of the day becomes preparation. Lydia drills Rebecca in the study, question after question, practicing delivery, anticipating cross-examination. Regina sits in silent, watchful, occasionally asking sharp follow-ups that make Rebecca flinch, but never back down. Lyric sketches in the corner, quick lines capturing Rebecca's face, tired eyes, determined mouth. The way she cradles her pups like they're the only thing keeping her upright. Ezra researches counsel procedure, looking for any technicality that could block her testimony. Thalia stays close to Rebecca, offering small comforts: a glass of water, a blanket, quiet stories about dragons who learned to be brave. I watch from the doorway, arms crossed, heart in my throat. This woman stood silent while Damien destroyed me. Now she's risking everything to help keep my family whole. Forgiveness isn't the word. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But respect. That's growing, slow, reluctant, real. Evening falls. We gather in the main room, fire crackling. Pups asleep in a pile of blankets. Rebecca sits apart, affidavit signed, witnessed, sealed. She looks at me across the flames. "I don't expect you to trust me," she says quietly. "I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know, watching you tonight, watching them defend you in that room 3 years ago. It was the first time I realized staying quiet wasn't strength. It was fear." I hold her gaze. "I know fear," I say. "I lived in it for 2 years as your mate's Luna. I lived in it for 3 years after he threw me away. Fear doesn't make you weak. Letting it make your choices for you does." She nods, slow. Tears shine, but don't fall. "Thank you for letting us stay, even if it's just until the hearing." I don't soften my voice. "You stay as long as you follow the rules. You hurt my children, even unintentionally, and the wards will remove you. No second chances." "Understood." Regina stands, stretches. "I'll take first watch tonight. Make sure no one tries the boundary." He heads upstairs without another word. One by one, the others drift off, Thalia curling against Rebecca's side with the pups. Lyric sketching by firelight, Ezra reading in the corner. I stay by the fire, watching Rebecca rock her smallest pup. She speaks without looking up. He's planning something for the hearing. Something personal. He told Cornelius he has insurance. Something that will make you look unstable in front of the council. I don't know what it is, but he smiled when he said it. My stomach tightens. "Thank you for the warning." She nods. Once. I stand. Pause at the doorway. "Rebecca," she looks up. "If you testify truthfully, if you help us keep these children together, I won't stand in your way after the hearing. You'll have sanctuary here as long as you need it." Not because I forgive you, because your pups deserve better than the man who raised them to be assets. Her eyes fill again, but this time she smiles. Small, real. Thank you. I turn away, climb the tower stairs. Outside the night is clear, stars sharp against black sky. The wards pulse steady, 6 heartbeats now, woven into the land. Regina joins me again, silent sentinel. She might be telling the truth, he says. She might. He leans against the railing beside me. Either way, we're ready. I look out at the forest, our forest. Yes, I say softly. We are 4 days until the hearing. Damien thinks he has one last knife to throw. But he's forgotten something important. The woman he replaced me with is now standing on my side of the line. And she knows exactly where he keeps his secrets. The morning of the hearing dawns gray and heavy. We load into 2 cars, Rebecca and her pups with Lydia, my 4 with me. The wards part reluctantly, like the land itself doesn't want to let us go. But as we drive toward the council building, Regina turns from the passenger seat and says 5 words that stop my heart. Mom, I smell him. He's already there. What happens when Damien's final play isn't a legal motion at all, but a direct, personal strike at the one thing Ruth can't protect with wards or lawyers? The regional council building looms like a tomb in the gray dawn, marble columns cold, windows reflecting nothing but sky. We arrive in 2 cars. Lydia drives the lead, Rebecca in the passenger seat, 4 pups bundled in carriers across her lap and chest. I follow in the second car, my 4 children silent, watchful, dressed in the simple dark clothes we agreed on. No flash, no vulnerability, just quiet strength. The wards let us leave reluctantly, a shimmer of protest along the boundary line, like the forest itself wants to hold us back. I felt it in my chest, the land breathing a warning. Regina breaks the silence first. Mom, I smell him. He's already here. My hands tighten on the wheel. I don't ask how he got past security early. I already know the answer. Power. Connections. The same things that let him reject me in front of the entire pack without consequence. We park. Step out into cold air that smells of rain and old stone. Rebecca waits beside Lydia, pups quiet against her. She meets my eyes, no pleading, just steady resolve. Whatever happens in there, she says softly, I'm not backing down. I nod once. That's all either of us needs. The hearing room is smaller than I expected, more conference than courtroom. Long table for the committee, rows of chairs for witnesses and observers. Fluorescent lights that make everyone look slightly ill. Damien is already seated at the committee table, suit impeccable, expression calm. Alpha Cornelius beside him, stern, official. Elder Meredith arrives last, silver hair pulled back, eyes sharp and unreadable. The room is fuller today. Word has spread. Rejected Baron Luna. 4 ancient bloodline heirs. Chosen family versus pack tradition. People want to see how it ends. We take our seats, my children around me like a shield. Rebecca sits behind us with Lydia, pups in carriers, at her feet. Elder Meredith speaks first. This hearing is convened to rule on two matters. 1. The territorial claim filed by Ruth Waldrop over 312 acres of formerly neutral land. 2. The custody arrangement of 4 minor wolves under her guardianship. She looks directly at me. Miss Waldrop, you understand the burden of proof rests with you. You must demonstrate that your guardianship serves the children's best interests, and that your claim to bloodline territory is legitimate under ancient law. I understand. Very well. We'll begin with opening statements. Miss Waldrop, you may proceed. I stand. My legs feel steadier than they should. I face the 3 people who hold everything in their hands. 3 years ago, I was rejected by my mate in front of the Silverpaw pack. He declared me worthless because my body couldn't give him heirs. I believed for a while that he was right, that without the ability to produce, I had no value. I pause, let the room feel the weight. Then I met Regina, 8 years old, dumped at a human orphanage by the Nightshade pack because he was too aggressive. They erased his name from their records like he was never born. I glance at my son. He sits perfectly still, obsidian eyes locked on the committee. I wasn't looking to be a mother. I was just trying to survive. But Regina looked at me with eyes full of rage and hope, and I couldn't walk away. I gestured to the others. Then Lyric, declared illegitimate by Goldcrest because her mother wasn't the right bloodline. Ezra, banished by Moonborn for having cursed silver eyes. Thalia, one of the last Imberfell survivors, sent to foster care because her pack couldn't afford to keep a pup whose fire flared when she was scared. I step forward, voice steady. 4 children, 4 ancient bloodlines, 4 souls the pack system declared disposable. They didn't rescue me. I didn't rescue them. We rescued each other. We built a family, not because fate demanded it, but because we chose it. Every day, every hard day, every beautiful day, I look straight at Damien. You filed this challenge claiming my children need proper pack structure. But you're the same man who rejected me publicly, not because law required it, but because it fed your pride. You invited me to your pup ceremony to remind me I was nothing. And when I walked in with proof that I built something stronger than anything you ever offered, you decided my family was too valuable to leave in my hands. The room is silent, absolute. I'm not a wolf. I can't shift. I can't teach them everything about pack dynamics or hierarchy. But I can teach them the one thing the pack system never taught any of them. Their worth isn't in their bloodlines. It isn't in what they can produce. It's in who they choose to be. And they chose me. I sit. Damien stands next, calm, measured. Miss Waldrop's love for these children is not in dispute, but love is not sufficient when we're speaking of 4 of the most significant bloodlines in our history. These minors represent genetic legacies that predate modern packs. They carry potential to revive lines long thought lost. That potential cannot be left in the care of a human guardian without pack support, without proper mentorship, without the structure only a recognized pack can provide. He looks at my children, almost gentle. They deserve mentors who understand their gifts, connections to their ancestral lines, stability that goes beyond one woman's determination, however admirable. He sits. Elder Meredith nods. We'll hear witnesses. Miss Thornwhisper, you're first. Lydia stands. The guardian calls Rebecca Fairmont. A ripple moves through the room. Damien's face goes blank, but I see the muscle jump in his jaw. Rebecca rises, hands steady. She walks to the front, 4 pups left in Lydia's care. She doesn't look at Damien. She looks at me once, nods. Lydia begins. Miss Fairmont, you were Luna of Silverpaw Pack until recently. You were present at Ruth Waldrop's rejection ceremony. Can you describe what happened? Rebecca's voice is quiet, but carries. Damien rejected Ruth in the Great Hall, publicly. He declared her barren, unfit. He said pack law required public rejection to be valid. But I watched him smile while she cried. I watched him laugh afterward with his beta, calling her dramatic. I watched him systematically isolate her, implying that anyone who stayed close would be seen as disloyal. Damien's hands clench on the table. Lydia continues. And the invitation to the pup presentation ceremony. It was never goodwill. Damien wanted her to see what he had, what she couldn't give. He wanted to prove he was right to reject her. I went along with it because I was afraid of losing my place, because I thought security mattered more than right. A murmur ripples through the observers. Lydia's voice sharpens. Did you witness any discussion of Ruth's children after the ceremony? Rebecca nods. He was furious. He told Cornelius the children were too valuable to leave with her. He said he had insurance, something that would make her look unstable at the hearing. He smiled when he said it. Damien surges to his feet. Objection. This is hearsay and speculation. Sustained, Elder Meredith says, but the witness may continue if she confines herself to what she directly heard or saw. Rebecca doesn't waver. I heard him say it. I saw the smile. I know what it means when he smiles like that. Lydia lets the silence sit, then no further questions. Damien's cross-examination is cold, controlled fury. Miss Fairmont, you are currently separated from me. Is it fair to say you have motive to damage my reputation? Yes, she answers simply, but I'm not lying. You claim I smiled during Ruth's rejection. Did anyone else see this smile? His beta did. Several pack members did. They laughed with him afterward. Damien's eyes narrow, and you, standing silent through all of this, now wish to be seen as credible. No, Rebecca says. I don't wish to be seen as credible. I wish to be honest. For once. Damien sits, face a mask. Elder Meredith looks at Lydia. Any redirect? Lydia stands again. Just one question, Miss Fairmont. Why testify today, knowing the cost? Rebecca looks straight at me, then at my children. Because I spent years believing security was worth silence. I was wrong. These children, all 8 of them, deserve better than parents who choose power over love. If my testimony helps keep them together, I'll pay whatever price comes. She returns to her seat. The room exhales. Lydia calls 2 more witnesses, former Silverpaw members, who corroborate Rebecca's account of the rejection and the invitation's intent. Each word lands heavier than the last. Then Damien's side presence, predictable. Psychologists, historians, loyalists, all saying the same thing in different words. Ruth is loving, but inadequate. The children need pack structure. Bloodlines matter more than bonds. Finally, Elder Meredith calls for closing statements. Damien stands first, voice measured. Ruth Waldrop's devotion is real, but devotion cannot replace expertise. These children carry legacies too precious to gamble on good intentions alone. They deserve the full support of pack tradition, mentors, structure, connection to their lines. I ask the committee to rule for their future, not sentiment. He sits. I stand last. My children have already spoken. In every look, every choice, every moment, they've chosen me over the packs that threw them away. Rebecca has spoken, risking everything to tell the truth about the man who once led her. I have only this left to say. I look at the committee, then at Damien. You rejected me because I couldn't give you heirs. You invited me to your ceremony to prove you were right. When I showed you I built something stronger, you decided to take it away. Not for the children's sake, for yours, because my thriving is the one thing your pride can't survive. I step closer to my children, hand resting on Regina's shoulder. If you rule against us, if you decide bloodline matters more than bond, you'll be telling every discarded child in every pack that their worth is in their DNA, not in their heart. You'll be telling them love is conditional. That choice is weaker than fate. I look at Damien one last time. You lost the moment you thought you could define my worth. You lost again the moment my children chose me. And if you take them from me today, you'll lose them forever, because the day they're old enough to choose again, they'll choose the woman who fought for them, not the man who tried to erase her. I sit. The silence is absolute. Elder Meredith clears her throat. The committee will now deliberate. They don't leave the room. They turn to each other, low voices, urgent gestures. Minutes stretch, 5, 10, 15. Finally, Elder Meredith speaks, after review of all evidence and testimony. The committee finds that Ruth Waldrop's guardianship of Regina, Lyric, Ezra, and Thalia is in the children's best interests. The custody arrangement is upheld. A collective breath released. Furthermore, the territorial claim over 312 acres is recognized as valid under ancient bloodline precedent. The ward's activation by 4 verified ancient lines constitutes legitimate reclamation. The claim stands. The room erupts, quiet at first, then louder. Damien surges to his feet, chair scraping. This is unprecedented. It is. Elder Meredith cuts in. And it is decided. She looks at me. Conditions apply. formal mentorship network for shifter-specific training, quarterly welfare checks, mandatory attendance at annual bloodline gatherings. Failure to comply triggers immediate review. I nod, voice thick. Accepted. Thank you. The gavel falls. It's over. We won. Lydia hugs me. My children pile into me, laughing, crying, talking over each other. Rebecca stands apart, tears streaming, but smiling. Damien remains seated, face ashen. He looks at me once. Hatred, defeat, something broken underneath. I don't look away. He stands, walks out without a word. Outside, in the cold air, Sage Emberfell waits. She whoops when she sees our faces, pulls me into a crushing hug. You did it, all of you. I hold my children close, Rebecca standing nearby with her pups. Thalia tugs my sleeve. Can we go home now? I kiss her forehead. Yeah, little fire. Let's go home. The drive back is different. Laughter. Stories. Rebecca's pups fussing softly, answered by Thalia's lullaby. At the boundary, the wards shimmer, welcoming us home like family. We step across. The dome flares once, bright, joyful, then settles. The forest breathes with us. We are safe. We are together. We are enough. Rehook 6 months later, the garden is blooming. The wards pulse steady. The children are growing into their power. Rebecca and her pups have their own wing, still guests, but no longer strangers. A single letter arrives, slipped through the wards, from Damien. No threats, no demands, just 2 lines. I was wrong. Tell them I'm sorry. I fold the letter, place it in a drawer. Some apologies come too late, but some wounds, given time, heal anyway. The story isn't over. It's just beginning a new chapter. One where chosen family isn't the exception. It's the rule. The end Nightbond narratives, if this journey moved you, hit like right now. Share it with anyone who's ever had to fight for the people they love. Comment. Which moment broke you open the most? Rebecca's testimony. The children's defense. The final letter. Tell me I read every word. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because next week we tell more stories of love that chooses, not fate. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.